Having a strong content marketing strategy is the key to growing your business online. Not only will a winning strategy help you target new audiences, but it will boost conversions, increase loyalty, and improve the way that you promote your products and services online. In this video, I'll tell you exactly what a content marketing strategy is and how to create one step by step for your clients or business. Hey, it's Emily here from Fat Joe, where we provide SEO services designed for agencies and marketing teams. So let's start with the basics. What is a content marketing strategy and why is it so important? A content marketing strategy outlines why you're creating the content that you're creating and exactly how you're going to do it. So ultimately, it informs the direction of your content. Content marketing is the actual creation and distribution of this content. To appeal to your audience, the content you create must be valuable, relevant, and consistent. And this is where the content marketing strategy comes in. Without a proper content marketing strategy, the content you create will fall flat and it won't help to achieve the goals that you need to achieve in order to grow your business. There are 3 elements of content distribution, which refers to how you'll distribute your content to your audiences across all your media channels. These are paid, owned, and earned. Paid media distribution pretty much does what it says on the tin. It's when you pay for your content to be put in front of your audience. Paid media can include pay-per-click, social media ads, retargeting ads, or TV ads. So basically anything you would consider to be an advert. This approach is ideal for any business that wants to get more eyeballs on their content. However, the conversion rate can be pretty low. So this is why we suggest you use a mix of all 3 distribution types for your content. Next, we have owned media, which is the content that you control. This is where you distribute your content through your own channels, such as your website, social media channel, blog, or newsletter. As mentioned, this distribution channel gives you complete control over your content. This means you can create as much or as little as you like, be personal, and respond quickly to trending topics. On the other end of the scale, we have earned media, which is the content that you have absolutely no control over. This is content that's created by your customers, the media, social media users, or anyone else outside of your business. The benefits of earned media can be considerable, often outstripping owned and paid media combined. This is because this is the type of content that will boost you up to the top of the search results and will drive the most conversions. Also, word of mouth is a powerful marketing tool. According to Nielsen, 92% of people say that they trust recommendations from family and friends over any other form of marketing. It's also important to note that some platforms fit under all 3 distribution channels. Let's take a look at social media. Now, social media fits under all 3 depending on the type of content you create. User-generated content is earned from customers writing reviews, comments, or posting photos containing your product. Content you're publishing from your own branded channels is owned. Paid content includes any social advertising, such as sponsored posts. Some companies may choose to send an influencer a sample or a full version of a product or service. Now, depending on the terms, they may or may not write a positive review. So does this fall under paid or earned? You can see the complications here, but you can fight over which one you think it is in the comments below. So now we have the basics covered, let's talk about how to actually create a content marketing strategy. We've boiled this down to 10 steps. Step 1 is to know your audience. First step is to define your audience's characteristics so you can get a better idea of the type of content that they want. Start by looking at the people who are actually buying from you and make a list of their demographics. So you'll want to be looking at their age, location, income, level of education, and anything else. Once you've decided on these, go and cross-check to see if your competitors are targeting these demographics too. If you notice any discrepancies, ask yourself why. Is this because they have a slightly different product? Are they targeting different people? Or are you targeting the wrong person? Now tweak your demographics if necessary to reflect the type of audience you should be targeting to be able to grow your business. You also need to define your audience's psychographics, which are your customers' personal characteristics. Ask yourself what values and attitudes they have. How do they behave? What's their personality structure and their lifestyles like? You want to get this right, because you'll be using this to create the type of content that your audience enjoys and wants to engage with. It'll inform everything from the subject matter to the tone of voice. Now you want to create a customer persona. which will embody the demographics and psychographics that you've just identified. So to do this, take all these traits and turn them into an actual person. Give this customer a name, occupation, list their favourite hobbies, whether they're actively on social media or they prefer to read the local newspaper. The next step to understanding your audience is to discover what your customers truly value. A local beauty company, for example, may be publishing loads of printed ads in the local paper. But if your customer persona is telling you that your millennial audience spends all their time searching through beauty inspiration and engaging with brands on social media, you won't grow your business unless you deliver the content they value. Getting your customer persona right is how you'll truly elevate your content, and you'll notice that I'll continue to mention it throughout the remaining 9 steps. Step 2 is set your goals. Now you need to set your goals, which will provide a purpose for all your content and later help you measure your strategy's effectiveness. At the top of the theoretical goal-setting pyramid, you have your brand's vision and mission. These goals reflect why your company exists in the first place and what you're trying to achieve. Any content you create should bring you closer to the overall vision and mission in some way. In the middle, you want to think about your strategic goals. How are you going to use your content to generate success for your business in the next 3 to 5 years? And then at the bottom of the pyramid, you have your short-term operational goals. These concern how your content will address your business's immediate needs, which are usually sales or conversion related. The SMART framework is probably the most famous framework to help you set your goals. SMART stands for specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound. You can use this as a checklist against each of your goals to make sure that they're as good as they can be. All the content you then create within your content marketing strategy should then aim to achieve these goals in some way. Step 3 is to assess your current position. Once you've set your goals, the next step is to take stock of your current content marketing position by doing a content audit. A content audit is the process of systematically assessing all the content on your website to see what's working and what isn't, so that you can then improve any existing content and create new content based on your SMART goals. Once you have a sense of the type of content your audience wants, this will improve your capacity to create this type of content in future. You can find everything you need to know to perform a content audit and update existing content on our SEO Academy on our website, which I've linked below. Step 4 is solve an issue. Content is most effective when it solves customers' problems. So your content marketing strategy should include direction on how to do this effectively. But how do you discover your customers' pain points? Well, this is where the customer persona that you've just created comes in handy. You need to use this as a prompt to put yourself in your customer's shoes and think about the issues that might be affecting them. The next step is to adapt your content marketing strategy to address these pain points. Think about this. What questions are your target readers asking that you can provide a quality answer to? You can quickly discover content gaps and plug them using the right media. You'll do this by delivering quality content on relevant topics that are published on all right media channels. Talking of content channels, the next step of developing a content marketing strategy is to research the suitable channels for your content. But what exactly is a channel? Well, put simply, it's any platform that you can use to distribute your content. And when you think about it, there's a lot of them. Content distribution channels include your website, your social media accounts, your blog, your email newsletter, third-party blogs and social media accounts, forums, reviews and review sites, guest posts, influencer content, social and search ads. You get the gist. Of this massive list, you need to decide which content channels you're going to use. Let's take another look at that customer persona. Some audiences, such as young professionals, might prefer to consume their content on forums such as Reddit, but young fashionistas might like Instagram better. Ultimately, you need to pick and choose between the channels that your audience are most likely to engage with most. Step 6, resources. Planning is all well and good, but if you don't have the resources you need to actually execute your strategy, then you may as well have not bothered. In light of this, you need to be realistic about what you can achieve. Think carefully about the resources you already have, what you might need in future, and what you might need to outsource. Step 7 is to decide on the content types. So now we've discussed the distribution channels and the resources, you need to dictate exactly which forms your content will take. There are a magnitude of forms that your content can take. But remember those SMART goals? You need to decide which forms it will take based on your goals. Step 8, create a content calendar. Now that you have all the content you want to create, let's get you organised with a content calendar. A content calendar is basically a written schedule that describes when and where you will create and post your content. This will enable you to not only get organised with your content marketing strategy, but to consistently produce quality content. To create your content calendar, you'll need a suitable tool that allows your team to create, manage, and collaborate. There are plenty of options, such as Google Sheets, Smartsheets, or our favourite Trello. Once you choose your tool, you'll need to begin fleshing it out. You'll need to include the publication frequency, the actual content you'll produce, the channels you'll publish on, as well as the time of day that you'll publish the content. The calendar should reflect what you've learned about your audience. And remember that the content you create needs to be frequent enough to work towards your objectives. Step 9, create the content. The title of this step is pretty self-explanatory, but in order to create the content, you need to work backwards. Think about how you're going to be creating this content based on step 6. You may need to set aside more time if you plan to create this content in-house. However, if you decided to outsource this content to an agency that can turn around your content pretty quickly, then you'll be able to churn more out in a shorter time. But it all depends on your chosen strategy. Step 10 is to measure your results. We highly recommend that you use data to measure the effectiveness of your content marketing strategy. Why? Because tracking your content's performance will tell you whether you're moving closer towards your goals. Having the right data to hand will tell you whether you're expanding your reach, boosting your brand awareness, or increasing your conversions and sales. Remember the 3 distribution channels we spoke about earlier? Paid, owned, and earned? Well, you can use these as categories to measure the effectiveness of your content. You can, for example, use Google Analytics to measure the effectiveness of your owned content. You can check the traffic to each piece of content using the URL. Check engagement metrics, such as the bounce rate and time spent on page, and even check the source or medium of the traffic. If you'd rather measure your content marketing strategy's performance based on the individual goal, then you can track the performance of each URL. Say, for example, search visibility is important to you. You could use Ahrefs Site Explorer and you could take a look at each URL's performance there. Lastly, if you're sharing your content on social media, you can use the individual platform metrics to judge the success of your content. So, what do you do if your current content marketing strategy isn't working? Sometimes your data will tell you that your current approach just isn't driving you towards your goals. So, if that's the case, head back to step 3 of this content marketing strategy. Unless your company or business proposition has seen an absolute overhaul, you won't need to revisit steps 1 or 2 anytime soon. This is knowing your audience and setting your goals. This is because they're likely to remain the same. However, you may need to adjust your marketing channels, content type, or even the issues that you're trying to solve. And that's it. You now know how to develop a content marketing strategy in 10 easy steps. If you'd like even more detail on how to develop your content marketing strategy, you can check out the detailed guide on our website. I've included the link in the description below. Don't forget to give this video a big thumbs up if you enjoyed it and subscribe for even more guides.